Hi everybody, this is Lisha Widong speaking. Currently you are listening my part 2 of my EDF 2151 assessment 2. And this is a 10-minute video presentation which talk about my reflection for my part 1, which I designed a web page. In the following time, I'm going to reflect on the processing of creating this web page, and it's a beautiful one, definitely, I think so. And also explain how it's designed. All the explanation really depends on 4 various theoretical frameworks and ideas we discussed in this unit on the class. This video will be separated into 2 parts. The first part, analyzation, will depend on the New London group and as well Cope and Calentisi's learning and by design theory. And the following part, analyzation, will really depend on the Green 3D model, as well free body and looks for resources. Thank you, and wish you will really enjoy this video. Let's begin. Hi everybody, please click on the web link we provided and go for our web page. Welcome to our motor literacy reading for the Animal Farm. As we can see, we are going to reread George Orwell's Animal Farm, written in 1954 in a new way, which is a motor literacy way. Our target audience is the educators who are looking for something for motor literacy teaching. They will wish all the information we provided on this web page will be really helpful and good resources for them to use. As well, the type of this web page is 2.0 web page. That means the first part of the web page is about the motor literacy information, and at the bottom part of the web page, it provided a feedback place. That means every visitor come to our website can leave the feedback. They can give us information, suggestion, and all things they want us to know, and also we can give them feedback. It's a communication. It's two-way. Instead of we directly provide the information and they just accept. In this way, we can build the web page together to make the information more rich, as well more powerful and useful for every educators. Now let's back to the motor literacy information part. We begin our analyzation depends on the New London Group's motor modality theory. This series mainly talking about available design, designing and redesign. Like our web page. The first one, original story written by the George Orwell. It can be called available design, which every word was written by the George Orwell himself. And then the following children's book slideshow, and the anime about George Orwell's Animal Farm, illustrated by Ralph Steadman, and video and diagram, the cue card following is all called redesign. That means these products really depends on the Animal Farm, but we make it for different audience, different purpose. And the processing of creating this product, we call it designing. Now we'll keep going talking about learning by design, which is a theory by Cope and Calentisi's. This is a new pedagogical model. It valued that a teacher is one learner in a classroom community of practice. According to learning by design pedagogy, we have already got learning is a really complex processing. We have to consider collective of the knowledge society, conditions of learning, curriculum, pedagogy, as well as assessment into consideration as a whole. And this pedagogy also really value how the knowledge process as well as text design. In simple words, how knowledge process. First, children are interested in it. They are life-world interest. Secondly, educators also have to make sure the students have agency in their learning by experiencing something they have already know, as well provided something new they can explore. Thirdly, we also can got something idea which is suitable and creative for children to explore. Take our webpage for example, Animal Farm Children's Book Slideshow, which give us a new version of Animal Farm. The picture we used here in this slideshow is really depends on the context from the original book. And secondly, the summary we put behind the slide is our understanding of the Animal Farm, the keynotes. The slideshow is really quite a good example To evidence how knowledge process, we have to understand the original text first, and then find related photos, and then summarize the key points of every chapter, and we reproduce such a big, long, boring novel into a colorful, simple 18 slides for children, which attracted their interest, take knowledge, colorful, simple words for every children to understand. Now back to design elements part. All the photos we used in this slideshow is highly matched what writers try to explain. For example, at last, the pig has already changed their personality like human beings, so they walk like human beings. We use the photo, a stand-up pig, to explain that idea, which is more vividly and more meaningful to students to understand. Now let's move to Green's 3 dimensions model. This model is really talked about the relationship between language and culture. The 3 dimensions are following: operational, cultural, and critical. Operational is mainly talk about language. Culture is talking about the meaning of the context, as well as critical talk about the power of this writing. Taking Animals Farm children's book, for example, we use really simple language to summarize every chapter of this book and to display at the end of every slide. On the other hand, we also find some relative photos to support what writers try to explain in this story as well. We think we use some easy recognize and use the system of signs and codes, which are part of language as well in our new literacy teaching. In the cultural part, for example, all the clothing the pig wear in the picture book is very similar to children's normal settings around the normal life. The house they lived and the clothes they wear, the way they talk is very similar to human, to express the idea that a pig transferred to another kind of human in the animal farm to lead the other animals, and try to express the topic. Some animals are more fair than the other animals. On the critical part, for critical dimension part, we have to refer the photos before last 4. That are photos showing that the front people carry really heavy stuff, and the second people before that people just carry a gun and walking behind it. That photo try to explain the idea that some people is more fair than the other people, means the animal farm is what exactly existing in this world. Some people say it's not fair and they have a revolution, and after a long period of time, the leader of the revolution become that kind of leader again, become to be more fair than the other people. After Green's 3D model, we are going to talk about free body and looks for resources for 3D mode. Comparing with these 2 models, we can find out that 3D model is really focused on the writing, and 4 resources count is more focused on reading part. But both of them is talk about using and creating real text in the real world. Now we are going to talk about what make 4 resources. 4 resources model are following. First, code breaker. Second, text participant and text user. Last, text analyzed. Code breaker is mainly talk about how do I crack this code. It means recognizing and using graphic, synthetic, and semantic source of information. For example, in a children's book we also make up a song. They even find an animal's favorite song, Beast of England, which was the symbol of the animal walk and grow. Now let's talk about text participant resources. This one is really similar to what I said, semantic practice. Part is normally talk about comprehending and composing or making meaning from writing, spoken, visual, and multimodal text. For example, the house we found in the picture book and the decoration around the animal farm is really similar to normal Western cultural background. That help children to get an understanding of the story environment. Now, text using resources. That means pragmatic practice. This one is mainly talk about understand the purpose of using different language. For example, we got a photo that a pig stand out from the window. To match the word we used, One day, the pig decided to treat the other animal unfairly because all the other animal is walking and is walking on the ground. But only this pig is standing out from the window, see all the animal from the top to make us feel that he is much fairer than the other animals. Now we're back to the last part, text analyzing resources, which is a critical practice. This means we're not just going to understand what they are talking about, also going to represent. It's very similar to neural group. It's a redesigned, represent our particular points of view. For example, in a text, they say the pig acting more human and even mad and make deals with other human farmers. Depends on our understanding. We make the pig stand up and put them in suits, and they are going to have like dinner like all other human beings to a really official dinner.